Boom or bust. Preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. It has the reputation in the game store retailer groups of sometimes losing people money. Did Mind School Games lose money on our first PPTQ? No. I was so pleasantly surprised. Okay, first we had 31 players, so we were packed. Packed house. We moved our gondolas outside, impromptu sidewalk sale. We put 2 extra tables there. So in order to house our PPTQ, we kicked our product out of the store. We don't always want to do that. We want to make money on our product, but that's what we did. We had 31 players. So just from that, after our judge fees and our hourly wages, which we had 3 people on staff, but we only pay one of them because 2 are owners. So our break-even number was like 24 players, and we passed it. So we made money on our PPTQ. That's a good thing. But also, it was our best Saturday ever. Yeah, we've had some good events on Saturdays. Saturdays are probably our main draw-in event. We have pre-releases on Saturdays. We got a Final Fantasy pre-release next weekend if you want to join us. We have product releases like Modern Masters 25 will release next Saturday. Some of those events are pretty big. Actually, it releases Friday, and we'll see if Saturday sales are still big. That might be part of why it was our biggest Saturday, because something like Rivals of Ixalan, it releases on Friday, and then you can pick it up Saturday. But anyway, it was our second best sales day ever. Our first PPTQ is our second best sales day ever. Now, yes, we're a fledgling business. We've been in sales for less than a year in our brick and mortar business, but our first best sales day ever was Black Friday. And that did come with some discounts. But yesterday we ran our PPTQ, and while I tried to offer some discounts to move some Mark Poole Starburst lands that I may have over 100 of each, we sold things at regular prices, and people came in and paid. And here's the really fun thing about the PPTQ. It brought in a Magic community that was, it was the mix of the narrative of my life the last 10 years and the narrative of my business. Honestly, like, there was a guy there that I've known since he was a sophomore in high school and I was a sophomore in college, and we've gone through a lot together. He's from Salina. I know his brother. We've talked about a lot of things, and it was cool to see him. It was his first time that he made it to the store. Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it. And I had another guy there who I love to buy cards from, and one time, you know, his family, he had a new kid in the house, his air conditioner went out, and he brought his cards to our house, and we helped him out with covering those bills, and, you know, it felt good. And to see him here and to have that ability to host a place where he can play and enjoy it, that's really cool. And Shane Houston won our tournament, so he is already moving on to the Team Pro Tour with Pro Tour qualifiers with Nolan and Barry, but the first time I met Shane was years ago. In fact, I was drafting a translumiant green-white deck at C&R Comics, and he had the reputation of being the best player in the area. That was Ravnica block. Ravnica block translumiant. Pretty good aggro deck if you want to look it up and draft some throwback Ravnica. I won that F&M. But that's the first time I met Shane Houston, and yesterday he took down a PPTQ in my shop. So that's, you know, it's kind of cool. It's really fun to bring back the stories of where Daniel and I have been. But I bet between the two of us, we knew all but about 6 of those customers before they walked in our doors. And I wish we had more people from Great Bend. Maybe we'll for our next one. We, I don't know, 5 locals. And if you count people in Great Bend that were in that tournament that live in Great Bend, I think our number was 2. So we had a lot of travel traffic to get to our 31. And that travel traffic liked our store, or seemed to like our store. You know, we brought in the packs right before our PPTQ. We sold a lot of Modern Masters 2013 packs. Sold a whole box. You want a whole box of Modern Masters? They got a Tarmogoyf when they opened last night. We had a draft for Battle for Zendikar after the top 8 cut. Some people were happy with other packs there. We sold some reserve list cards. Gaia's Cradle sold a Masterpiece Soul Ring, sold some Arabian Night Mountains. So, you know, when you take those kind of cards, it's pretty easy to get to your best sales day ever. But if anybody wants those dual lands, nobody came and bought my dual lands. So if you're out there listening to this video just looking for a place where you can put your hands on some dual lands, see them in person before you buy them, 1401 Mindsculpt Games is the place. Anyway, our first PPTQ was a real success, great success. And by the way, if you're watching this video and you're looking for a great local judge, Justin Gardner ran it super well for us. And I passed My level 1 judge test. Mindsculpt Games has 2 level 1 judges now. Daniel, who I will probably defer most questions to, and me, because I passed. It might have been close. Justin might have been a little nervous when he graded my first 10 questions. But the last part of the test was F&M, and I knew that better than two-headed giant competitive. But anyway, so we have 2 level 1 judges. We have a PPTQ. Maybe one day we will have a level 2 judge on staff at Mindsculpt Games and we can run PPTQs in-house. But in the meantime, Justin Gardner is an amazing resource for us. So thanks, Justin. Appreciate you being here. And we have planned our next one. So our next PPTQ, guys, if you're local in Great Bend, you should take this day and put it on your calendar now and ask for it off so you can show up. It is June 9th. Mindsculpt Games will host another standard PPTQ June 9th. That's a Saturday. Now here's why we picked it. Our lease in this building is up June 2nd. So unless all else fails, we are pretty much guaranteed to be in our new location on June 9th for our first PPTQ. And maybe we will have our best sales day ever right then. It's not all about the sales, guys, I promise. It was great to see you all. I was very happy to just smile at people. But it was also nice that we made the sales. That's a big plus. So I wanted to talk to you guys and talk about our 3 locations. Because let's see, June 2nd, we're in March, April, May. Less than 3 months at this point. Darcy better get moving. So I'm going to tell you, in life, sometimes decisions are easy. Like you put it in a Google Sheet, you run a formula, you look at the math, and you say, yeah, that's a great buy percentage. I think the sell-through rate will be high enough. Buy. You know, okay, so there's some decisions like that. And then there's some decisions where you wonder what you're meant for. Like, what is my purpose in life? Ready to get philosophical? And I don't know if I'm bordering on my purpose in life right now, but what the decision ahead of me that I need to make soon, like I want to have a contract signed by April 1st. The decision about the contract is big. You know, we started in a place, we didn't start with a lot of time looking for property, and we started in a place where our overhead was very manageable. That's part of the reason we made money in year 1. Our overhead is manageable. So yeah, it's a little tight here when we have 31 players for a PPTQ, and we want more space, but we started where we could make our break-even point pretty easily. So if you like economics, here's how you get to a break-even point. You count your overhead, which is rent, utilities, things like cable, internet, you know, whatever it takes, your monthly overhead. And then you add in your cost of operations, which is your cost of labor. And that would include my worker. You know, it doesn't really include my labor, so we're still cheating because we don't pay ourselves, but we're building our business, so we're paying into our business. Anyway, you take your overhead and your cost of operations, and then you times it, or actually, what you do is you divide it by your normal margins. So we have to take our items sold and what we pay for our cost of goods, and then we can calculate our margin of profit, right? And our credit card processing is going to take a certain percentage, and we have to pay a distributor a certain percentage. So once we get it on site, we have paid a certain amount. Once we get it through the cash register, we've paid a certain amount, and then we have a margin. So we calculate our cost of goods, we calculate our operations, we calculate our overhead, and then we get to a profit margin. And a break-even point tells me how much product I need to sell each month in order to pay all my overhead. So after I sell X amount of product, like let's say $6,000, then I break even. And there's some locations where to break even, I would need to sell $10,000 worth of product a month, and then after that might be profit, but before that is a loss. Okay, so that's the type of numbers math I've been doing thinking about our 3 locations. So now I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 locations that we have in store. That we don't have in store, that we have possibly in our future. Location 1 is very similar to this building, but about double the size. It's in the same foot traffic area. It's actually 2 blocks away. But because we had a longer time to look at the market, and this one's been sitting on the market for a while, our overhead, our rent would actually be less than it is here, and we would get more space. Okay, so our utilities will stay about the same. They'll increase a little bit because it does cost more to heat and cool a bigger area. Maybe we'll be smarter about how we do it, whatever, but it'll cost more. So our rent will go down a little bit if we sign this lease 2 blocks away. But our overall overhead will probably be about the same, maybe even a little more. But we would increase in space. So number 1, location 1 is low risk. Overhead about the same. I know I make money each month here. Okay. I know that I could use more space, so there's an advantage for location 1. There is some parking issues. Like in my biggest of dreams, I wouldn't have enough parking in that spot. So we'll see. Now location 2 is located on 10th Street, which is a highway that connects towns. The traffic count is much higher. We have done traffic count studies. Location 2 is the highest traffic count. It's about the same amount of space as location 1, so we're looking at doubling our size here. And the overhead is about a time and a half. Let's see, probably a time 0.66, you know, less than 2 times, more than a time and a half on the overhead. From the inside door, I can hear the traffic on 10th Street, and I wouldn't necessarily control who rents out the back part of my building, and that might be pretty noisy. So location 2 comes with some noise risk. It has great traffic count, which may or may not be good. I think traffic count's good because I want to be able to pull in new families, catch people that might not know we exist. Marketing with a sign on 10th Street sounds pretty effective, but I want moms to be able to drop by, you know, when they're traveling from Ellenwood to Walmart in Great Bend. We would be on the way, and that means they can come get a HABA game and have face-to-face interaction with their family. So location 2 is very attractive for me because as a mom, I want to help other moms have face-to-face interaction with their kids, and I think that's one of the best things Mind Sculpt Games offers. So we have space, we have traffic count, and we have travel ability. So we'd be really easy to find. We would have top of mind status for people that drive down 10th Street, and in big old Great Bend, that's where people drive the most. And the costs are manageable. Our break-even point for that location would be within our normal sales range. So that's a pretty good spot for us. There is a lot of storage for me, and honestly, I have run out of storage space for things I need to do, like my manila envelopes, my padded envelopes. They're having trouble finding places. In fact, for a while, I was storing sealed product waiting for it to ship out in my window. We have actually sold through most of that, but I need better storage. So location 2 has really good storage. Now location 3 is also on 10th Street, but it's past Walmart and past Dillon's. So as far as the Ellenwood crowd, it's a little past them, but it's on the Larned side of town. So we would still get some drive traffic. Our research on traffic count does say that it's lower than location 2, but it is higher than location 1. So 10th Street there still gets more traffic than Main Street here. And this has been on the market for a while, so that's why this is in our ballpark. There's some negotiation able to happen on the price, and this is where the dream of dreams happens. And remember, I'm in a town of 15,000 people, so sometimes I have to temper my dreams, or maybe I just dream big, who knows. It's a 5,000 square foot property. Okay, I didn't lie to you. It's a 5,000 square foot property. So we had 31 people in here for a PPTQ. A big Magic tournament that people did travel for. And we were out of space. Now, I don't know how much of a tournament-centered type of model we can be in a rural Kansas town. But we did prove, or, you know, seem to have inklings that our marketing reach for Magic players, who most of them we knew for years, was good enough to make a profitable day for us on a PPTQ. So, should I take a 5,000 square foot property where my overhead makes my break-even point what used to be one of my best months? We've cleared it the last 4 months. The last 4 months include November and December, so Black Friday and Christmas. If I could do those types of months routinely, I would clear my overhead and make a profit in the biggest place. The biggest place 3 years from now sounds great. I don't know, maybe it never is us to have 5,000 square foot, but there's a lot of area back there for storing sealed product. You know, I could buy Masters 2013 if I had this kind of cash flow, and I could store it in the back, and I could let it sit for years. And Masters 2013, when you bought it the first time, was a $185 box. When I sold it last night, it was a $455 box. And if I were to sit on the sealed case of Modern Masters 2013 that I have for, let's say, another 5 years, would it reach future site level box prices? You know, I've talked a little bit about the economics of dual lands and how they rise over time, and reserved list cards and how they're a really stable investment. Well, sealed product is the other really stable investment in Magic. It's not the most fluid investment. I was pretty surprised to sell a Modern Masters box within a week of putting it on the market locally. But the value of Masters 2013, Masters reprint sets have had an uptick in value. Iconic Masters even, I have 18 boxes of Iconic Masters back there, and I bought them recently because I believe the price is on an uptick. In fact, I've already sold 2 of them since bringing them in last week. So Iconic Masters is on the move, if you ask me. That price will not be where it's at for very long. But anyway, if I set on Masters 2013 for another 5 years, there's a realistic chance that I would be looking at an $800 sealed box. So I don't mind storage space. I'm not a museum. I'm trying to make money. Every dollar I can get, I can grow with. So I'd rather have dollars than cardboard. It's a little harder to grow with a Lingering Souls or a Mox Opal or a Chandra Nalar. You know, I'd rather grow with cash. It's a little more flexible. It buys me board games. But I'll grow with whatever I can. That's why I like reserved list cards and don't get rid of them all that easy. But if you want to come buy them, I got them. Anyway, that location, 5,000 square foot, would allow me to move my business model into a tournament center where we could try to routinely host large tournaments. Now, travel is somewhat of a barrier. We had players traveling 2 hours to get to us. And you know, you do that the first time a card shop's exciting. Do you do that the second time you've been to a card shop? Do you build loyalty? Will you do that every 3 months for a card shop? Can they host routine large tournaments and get the draw that we had last time? Could we get 50 players? If we get 50 players, we level up to Advanced Plus with the Wizards Play Network, and I get higher allocations. I would love higher allocations. I do not have enough Masters 25 to do what I want with it. I would love to be able to get more Masters 25. So there's a draw, but it's a risky move. It's a move where I have to have my best months to break even, is really banking on the future. And I know I do this boom or bust video series and seem like, oh, I'm a big risk taker. Well, I'm really not when it comes to leases. That'd be hard. So it would also allow potentially greater food and drink options, maybe some soft serve sodas, maybe, you know, a pretzel maker or something. We'll look into our options. Do I want a game cafe one day? You betcha, but I need a business partner who knows something more about restaurants, because the only restaurant experience I have is Sonic and Long John Silver's, and I did it as a 16-year-old teenager and it didn't last very long. So I need somebody who is willing to work with me that has owner, manager experience in a restaurant before I can really dream of that. So do I sign on a 5,000 square foot building that's a really good deal? I drove my father-in-law past that building. I told him the price per month and he said, that building only costs that? Yeah, so it's attractive. But you know, there's times in life where you feel kind of overwhelmed by your decisions, or you can't make them with a Google Sheet, or they're not easy. They're not snap decisions. Magic lingo there. So in this case, what I do is I pray about it. And I've prayed a lot. I pray about Mind Sculpt games all the time. I prayed about it every night before I decided to make this business. And when I pray about our business, you know, I pray that we're financially viable, but I don't necessarily pray for money. But I pray that we do what we're meant to do to create the best positive impact on our community. That we give people a safe place to play and create friendships. That we give the good a chance to rub off on other people and create positive atmospheres and positive attitudes and positive outcomes. And I pray that at Mind Sculpt Games people can find good influences, and that, you know, yeah, I just want to do good things for our community. I want people to take home board games and put away their cell phones and connect on that human level and build stronger relationships and feel happier and get the endorphins that eye contact brings, you know? Mindsculpt Games is a really cool place. It's fun to be here. And I like to be here while I'm alone and be able to think and dream. But I like to be here on days like yesterday with the PPTQ when I got friends from all over the place and people that I've known for a while showing up and supporting us and saying nice things. Like Barry Smith is a Pro Tour player and he came into our tournament the other day and he told us we have a nice shop. It's nice to see card shops thriving and you guys are doing the right things and you're doing a good thing for the community. And that felt really good. I mean, what we're building is worth it. We're building something worth it. And we're building it, in my heart, I believe, because we're meant to. Because prayer, the open door seemed there through prayer. And I keep praying, like, where am I supposed to go next? What building helps us build what's the best vision for Mindsculpt Games? Not just the most financially gainful, but what are we meant to do? How can we best impact our community? And it's awfully tempting to go want to sign on that 5,000 square foot property and say, community, come in my open doors and sit at my tables. But, you know, tables are cool. They just don't make you a lot of money all the time. And yeah, money is important. But anyway, if you're one of my prayer warrior friends and you want to pray for Mindsculpt Games, there's 2 prayers you can make for us. One, that we make the right decision, that the right opportunity appears, and that we end up where we're meant to be. So that Mindsculpt Games gets the location they're meant to be in. And 2, and the most important prayer is probably this one, but that Mindsculpt Games, that are workers here, that are customers here, that we do have a chance to encounter good, positive things, and that the good works in where we're at, and that there's a chance for people to find comfort and find acceptance and, find good relationships with people that feel happy and connected. So if you stuck with me this long, I do have a personal invitation for you. If you are within distance of Mindsculpt Games and you're looking for an Easter Sunday location, Heartland Community Church is in Great Bend. It's where my husband and I go, and the preacher, Matt Schaffner, has multiple copies in his house of variants of Catan. He won the first Magic the Gathering tournament here, and lots of members of his family know how to play Magic. We also went and we played Munchkin together the other night at the dinner table. It's a very, if a Magic player came in and wanted a church that they could feel comfortable in for Easter Sunday, Heartland would be a great place. I know about, not counting all the little kids, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Magic players that go to church there and feel comfortable. So on Easter Sunday, you know what? If you tell me you're coming, I'll show up in jeans. I'll talk to you about Dominaria spoilers. I'll tell you whether or not I'm excited about that Mox. Carrie Zev's going to be good with it. But, if you want a place where you feel comfortable, Heartland Community Church is a great one. And if you are a Magic player and or anybody that comes to our shop and you think, I think they have something there. Maybe that church experience would be good for me. I like to go to church on the holidays. What is that Easter story about? You probably know what the Easter story is about, but if you want a place to come, we have some people that you'd be comfortable with. And you wouldn't have to worry about the small talk that goes on at church, because you and I could talk about Dominaria spoilers, or you could talk to Daniel about whatever rules question you want to ask him, or maybe you could ask our pastor what he thinks of Ticket to Ride and the best strategy there, because he is a pretty good board game player. So anyway, Mindsculpt Games has some big choices ahead of us, and even though we talk about risks with boom or bust, and I do crunch a lot of numbers, one of the most important things I do is pray for my business, pray for the people that come here, pray for our employees. And these are big decisions ahead of us. So if you care about what we're trying to do in the community, you care about me, you care about Daniel, you care about our business, prayers are very much appreciated. They matter. So thanks. Appreciate you listening. See you around.